In today's video, I'm going to introduce you to Eleanor Feldman, antiques glass dealer here in Oxford at Antiques on High. Now, Eleanor is a fascinating lady. She used to be a hospital consultant here in Oxford, now retired from that, and a full-time antiques dealer as well as an author. Eleanor is about to publish a book on the glass-making firm Stuart and Sons. Meet Eleanor. Now, Eleanor, what a delight to meet you. I've heard so much about you.
Really?
Yes, I have. It can't be true.
What?
All the things I've heard about you.
Okay, well, maybe just as well.
Now, apparently you're writing a book.
I'm writing a book for Richard Dennis Publications
Right.
on Stuart and Sons.
Oh, the glass makers.
The glassworks near Stourbridge,
Right.
part of the Crystal Mile.
Okay.
They had the Red House Cone, which is a museum,
Right.
and then the building opposite, which was the White House Cone, is now where the Stourbridge Glass Museum is.
Now, what is the Crystal Mile?
Well, that's all the glassworks that were in the Stourbridge area. So it's West Midlands,
Yeah.
Black Country, really.
Yes.
And there's a tour of the Crystal Mile.
Oh, I see.
So look, canal side to the north of Stourbridge, but
Right.
they're often referred to as the Stourbridge Glassworks.
Okay.
It's the nearest town.
I've never heard of the Crystal Mile.
Oh, you've not been there then?
No, you
Because
know
it's
what,
all the
I
brown
haven't.
signs.
You know, I haven't been. You'd have thought I would have done with filming, but I haven't.
Yeah, there used to be a very good museum called the Broadfield Glass Museum.
Right.
And then that closed, and then they eventually, like April, is it this year or April last year, I can't remember, but very recently have opened the Stourbridge Glass Museum.
Right.
Like I said, opposite the Red House.
Okay.
And the Red House glass cone is one of the last surviving glass cones in the country, so it's a
Now,
really
explain glass what?
cone.
What
So
is a
it'd be
glass
where
cone?
the furnaces were. It's like a huge,
Oh.
it's like the pottery chimneys.
Right.
So it's a huge brick chimney with the
Okay.
furnaces underneath for melting the glass.
Brilliant. Okay,
Yeah.
so has glass always been a great passion of yours?
Well, since about the 1990s, I
Right.
started buying, actually, yes, but I started with actually Whitefriars glass.
Okay.
Because I was interested, there's a little bit of Whitefriars, there's a Whitefriars Albert.
Yeah.
I was interested in the arts and crafts period.
Right.
And James Powell and Sons worked with Morris and Co. and
Yeah.
W.A.S. Benson
Right.
and made fabulous art glass.
Okay.
And wine glasses, you know, to architects' designs like Philip Webb.
Yes. Yes.
And T.G. Jackson, who's responsible for lots of the buildings in Oxford, T.G.
Mm.
Jackson. And so I went to Richard Dennis's shop in Stourbridge.
Yeah.
And not in Stourbridge, his shop was in Somerset, in the Somerset Levels. And I'd pick out the Whitefriars because I had an eye for it.
Right.
And when I retired from my day job, he asked me, would I like to write a book?
What was the day job?
I was a hospital consultant here.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
It's quite a change.
Well, you've got to have a hobby.
You do, don't
So,
you?
so when I retired,
Yeah.
I set up a little antiques and vintage item business.
Brilliant.
Not here. I mainly trade from Chiswick in London,
Oh, do you?
but I live in Oxford
Okay.
and I needed more cabinet space.
Got you. And this is your cabinet. Can we open up
Yeah.
the cabinet? Let's have a look
I need
inside.
the key.
Okay, you get the key. I'll have a scour in while you get the key.
So the glass tends to be on the top shelves where the light is best,
Right.
to show its sparkle,
Oh, yeah.
because that's the whole point of cut glass, is the sparkle.
And was that what drew you to it in the early days?
Well-
the glinting in the candlelight. Are you a bit of a romantic, Eleanor? Is that what I'm
no.
thinking? You're not.
No, Richard Dennis asked me to write a book and suggested Stuart Crystal. He said, we
Okay.
need a book on Stuart
We
Crystal.
need. Okay, talk to me about Stuart Crystal.
Okay, well,
Talk to me
most
about
of
it.
this on the top row is sort of the Art Deco period.
Yeah.
These cocktail shakers, which were all glass to start
look at that
with.
one.
So that with enamel
I'm
lines.
looking at your hand there. I need to see that.
Take my hand away. So
That
that
is nice.
shape was their early shape for cocktail glasses from the 1920s.
But tell me about the company and
Yeah.
what it is about the company that you're interested in.
Well, it's
And,
100
and why will the readers be interested in it?
well, it is collectible, and I think Richard said that there hadn't been a good book on any of the Stourbridge glassware. It's a comprehensive book. So I've covered 120 years of production.
Oh my goodness
from
me.
the early 1880s until it folded in 2001.
Right. How many words in are you?
Oh well, I don't know. I can't remember the word count.
You don't count words?
There is a word count. I can't remember it because I submitted the text last November.
Right.
We're doing the photography now.
Okay.
And that's photographing glass is quite an art.
It's very difficult to get it bang on, isn't it?
Well, Richard's son, Magnus, is a professional photographer. So
Handy.
he's doing wonderful photographs against black in studio conditions. So as I was saying, these are champagne flutes.
Yeah.
And this particular one was a design for Harrods.
Shall we bring that out? Let's have a look at that.
Harrods this was only one, unfortunately not a pair. But Harrods was a big customer for Stuart and Sons.
Right.
As were the Army and Navy cooperative.
And will this particular style of glass feature in the book?
Oh, it's photographed in the book.
Oh,
yes.
right, good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So now that my collection's been photographed, I can start selling it, you see.
I see.
I sell some of it in Chiswick.
Now we say Chiswick, is that the
old
antique
cinema,
centre?
the
Yes,
old
I know
cinema
that.
in
Yeah,
Chiswick.
yeah.
Yeah. So I've been there since about 2016, and I've only been here for the last year.
Right. Isn't it fascinating how an interest turns into a passion, then a business, and then a book?
Well, it was just I was invited to write the book, so.
Yeah, but you accepted.
Yeah, well, because I thought, oh, that's fun. And in my day job, I used to write and research and give lectures, and so it's second nature to me.
Right.
And, being in Oxford, I've been able to use the Bodleian for some of the research.
Right.
Which is very useful.
How wonderful.
The main archive is up at Wedgwood, though, because Waterford Wedgwood took them over in the 90s.
And when will this book be out?
Well, hopefully next year. It's we've had things closed because of the pandemic. It took a long time to reopen. Archives because you need to ventilate them.
Right.
Or you can't ventilate them because you've got to control humidity and temperature. So, it's been an issue and slowed us up. But I am going up to Wedgwood this week to start photographing the manuscripts. So Magnus has done the glass.
How fascinating.
And he said with my iPhone, it's not advertising, but with my, also you're using one too, I could actually photograph the flat work.
Yes, of course.
These pieces are all Stuart.
Yeah.
The main designer in the 20s was Ludwig Nie, Bohemian. There was a family of Bohemian gravers called the Nies. And, so he became chief designer after the First World War because he couldn't sustain the workshop on his own.
And investment value as well? Are they good pieces to buy?
Well, there are some. I think some of the most interesting pieces are, there was an Art Nouveau period where they did this, what they call peacock glass, with trails and dabs.
Yes.
And that was mainly designed by Robert Stuart, who was one of the sons of the founder, Frederick. And then the Art Deco enamel work. Yeah, that's a fabulous knee design.
That's gorgeous, actually, isn't it?
I've got a load of those, but there isn't space.
Now, what's that worth?
Well, my value.
Go on. Tell me what...
I think the values will go up after the book. I put them as a pair at 80.
£80, it's no money, is it?
Well,
I mean, for goodness sake.
And a lot of work's gone into them.
And will they feature in the book?
Oh, yeah.
Right, okay.
Because the Stourbridge Museum has the decanter that goes with them. I'll bring this one forward. It's an enamel cocktail glass.
And what about your favourite item, Eleanor?
Well, I think in this cabinet, I really like the enamelled glass.
Oh, let's hold that nice and tight. Let's let the viewers have a look at that.
Painted on enamel cocktail glass.
Right, isn't
People
that fun?
refer to this shape as Stratford rings because one of the shapes with this ring was called Stratford.
Right, so that's very kind of 1920s, am I right?
Yes, 1920s. And the enamelling was done by women who hand painted it on before it was then fired at the right temperature.
I see.
And they were paid much less than the male cutters.
Were they really?
So these would have been relatively cheap compared with the cut glass in their day.
Yes.
But are now very, very desirable. the enamelled work. And there are lots of wonderful geometric deco patterns as well.
Isn't that a lovely irony?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, but you touched on it there. The values will go up when the book is published.
I hope so.
I think you're absolutely right.
I mean, that's what happened with Whitefriars.
Yes,
because,
of course.
you know, there was the big exhibition in the Museum of London.
Yeah.
And a concurrent exhibition at Manchester.
And then everybody wants to buy Whitefriars.
Well, I think when there's knowledge about
Yes.
something, it helps collectors and dealers.
Yes, it does.
And quite frankly, there's a lot of, when I've looked at secondary sources, there's lots of misinformation. So that's a bitters bottle.
A bitters bottle?
Yeah, for your Angostura bitters to make your pink gin.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
And some people think it's for oil or vinegar, but it's not. It's for bitters.
Bitters. Well, there you go. That's what you call research, isn't it? Good research.
Well, I mean, that's quite easy because it's in the catalogues and it's listed as a bitters bottle. But
easy for you to say, and
yes.
Isn't it? Oh, how wonderful. Okay, well, viewers, wherever you are in the world, keep your eyes peeled for Eleanor's new book. I'm sure we'll make a mention of it when it does come out. And start searching around the antique centres wherever you are in the world and buy Stuart Glass, because Eleanor's book...
We'll put the value on.
The prices, Eleanor, are going to rocket.
Well, I don't know about that.
Lovely to meet you.
All right, David, thanks. Thanks for the info.